So you might recognize my outfit, and that is because I am filming this on the same day that I filmed my update, my life update video. I don't even know at this moment what I'm calling it because I'm filming these on the same day. So I will link in a card above my life update video if you have not seen that. So today is the May book talk. I have really been enjoying these, and let me tell you, I am really loving everything book related. I really am. And I never thought I would be somebody that liked to read. I did pick up reading, I think it was like back in 2016. And then when I started my, well, really it was before I started my shop. And then I stopped reading in about 2018 and haven't done any reading until 2023, and now I'm hooked. I love everything about it. And here's the thing. I know you probably didn't get on here to hear my spiel about this, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. But the reason I read so much is because I almost despise TV. And I'm not going to get into any political talk or anything like that. I just feel like I can't watch TV anymore. Like the people that are actors and actresses, and I'm over all of that. So to me, I find more enjoyment out of finding books that I like and sitting there and reading them. So that is why I get through so many books. I've had people say, how in the world are you reading that many books? Because I don't watch TV. Like literally my husband and I, lately, laying in bed at night, he is playing a game on his phone and I'm reading a book. Because there's, like, we have a Netflix subscription, and, you know, I think, I guess we get Max now. Do we get HBO Max? I think we do because of AT&T, but that shows you how much I watch TV, because I don't even know if that's true, but I think we do. We just don't have any desire to sit there for 2 hours trying to flip through those things or those apps to try to find something halfway decent to watch. And that's usually what it ends up being. Us flipping through 2 hours trying to find something halfway decent to watch. And then the last couple of times that we've tried to watch something, we'll watch about 30 minutes of it. And then we're like, okay, enough of this, I'm done. So I enjoy reading. I've really enjoyed the hobby. I love watching all of the people talk about books on Book Talk and Bookstagram and BookTube and whatever else they call it. So I'm loving making these books. I'm loving making the reading stickers and magnets and all of that in the shop, and I hope that you guys are too. Anytime you have any suggestion on things that I could add to the shop, definitely don't hesitate to let me know, because I'm always looking to add new things. Like this upcoming month, or this month, yes, I'm sharing this in June. I'm filming it in May, sharing it in June. This month, I'm going to be starting to share my book stickers inspired by the books that I'm reading. So definitely check that out in the shop. And I did share a little glimpse of my reading journal that I started this year in my last Plan With Me. So if you've not seen my June Plan With Me, I'll link that in a card above. I am going to share the process next year. I did not start that until like March or April, so I'm way behind still. Next year, I'm going to start it ahead of time. I didn't even think about it until March. I think it was March or April, and I started it, so I'm playing catch up with all the books that I've read. So definitely check out that video if you want a glimpse, or TikTok and Instagram, because that's where I've been sharing it. So this month, I'm thinking I'm not going to get any more books read. I have started one book that I will talk about at the end, but I've read 7 books. These are the 7 books. These are the 7 books that I read in May. So let me tell you, the month did not start out so great. I had high hopes, and then we got better. So we've got a wide variety of ratings for this month's set of books. First book I read for May was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. So none of this is true was the first Lisa Jewell book that I read. So I thought, you know what? I liked it. It wasn't like, the ending still had me going, what was true? But I did enjoy the book. So I thought, let me read another one by her. This one was highly reviewed and highly recommended. A lot of people love this book. I don't understand why. Here's the thing. This book, I rated it 3 stars. And I rated it 3 stars because it did have me on the edge of my seat. It was a good read, but my gosh, it was hard to read. I have a 15-year-old daughter. And this was so, like, this was about a girl who goes missing. And they're trying to figure out, it says, oh, that was Ellie. I'm like, hold on, I have a book. Ellie Black. Okay, I'm like, hold on, is this the same name? This is Ellie Black. This is Ellie Mack. I'm like, hold up. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. So they're trying to figure out what has happened to her daughter. Her daughter's been gone for 10 years. No signs of her, nothing. You guys, I'm just going to tell you, this was really hard for me to finish. Like, at the very end, I felt nauseated and like I needed to vomit. So, I'm just going to give you a trigger warning. If you have a daughter, a teenage daughter, I don't care. If you have a daughter, this is hard to read. So, for me, it's 3 stars, and I'm only giving it 3 stars because the story was good. It was just not for me. Next up, I wanted to try an Ellen Hildebrand book. And I decided to start with Golden Girl. I saw somebody on TikTok say this was their favorite book by this author, so I decided to start with this one. I think I started with the wrong one. I rated this 3 stars. This was not my favorite book ever. It was very slow to me. It was 375 pages, but you guys, I felt like it would give you this. There was too many characters, let's be honest. There were too many characters. So in the beginning of this book, they tell you the situation that we're trying to figure out what happened. So this mother, Vivi, goes on a run. Somehow there's a hit and run. Somebody hits her, kills her on the run, and you spend the entire book trying to figure out who it was that hit her. And then she goes to heaven, and she has, I don't know if it's a guardian angel, what they call it, like somebody that's somebody from the beyond. I thought they coined it something. I can't remember what they coined it. But this person is like her mentor in heaven. And she gives her 3 nudges. 3 little nudges she can nudge somebody down on earth to change the direction that their life is going in. So that's a part of the story as well. So there were way too many characters in this book. So you understand the situation in the beginning, and then we take detours and we talk about all of these characters and all of their upbringing. And I kept thinking, can we please get back to the situation? I don't care about all of this, what happened to this person growing up. It was too long for me. But don't let that discourage you from reading it. A lot of people loved it. I'm going to give Ellen Hildebrand one more chance to see if I like her books, because so many people loved them. So I do have one of her books over here as a TBR for June that I will share. So if you love her, let me know what book you recommend, because evidently I didn't start with the right one. So the next book I'm going to talk about should have been one I DNF'd like 30 pages in, and I did not. I should have listened to the person that said, if you like this book, I'm not following you on TikTok. But there were so many people that loved this book. You guys, it was a book of the month pick in, let's see, what month was it? September of 2021. So I thought I was gonna love it. I did not. And that is Rock, Paper, Scissors. I gave this 2 stars. Just because it didn't even have my attention. So at the end of the book and I shut it, I was like, what did I just read? It was all over the place. It wasn't making sense to me. So it's originally about a couple whose marriage is on the rocks, and they decide, like, they win this vacation that's like out in the middle of nowhere, and they're trying to rekindle their relationship. Like, I can say that's what the book is about, But the book is about so many different things that I can't even explain it in one fluid sentence. And I wish I would not have read this. I don't recommend this. I just really don't, because I can't even explain to you. It was just way all over the place, very jumpy, not fluid at all. So if you can tell, I really did not like this. So 2 stars for that one. So by this point in May, I was very like, what am I going to read? Like, this is not a good reading month. 2 3s and a 2. What am I going to read? Am I going to find something that I really like this month? Because it's not looking so good. So I decided, let's pick up an Emily Henry book. So the book I'm talking about is Funny Story. Really good book. I gave this 5 stars. And that is saying a lot for me, because when I went into this book, I wasn't expecting to like it because I did not like Happy Place that much. Book Lover was just way too long for me as well, but y'all, I really like this. So how the story goes is Daphne and Miles are basically the exes of 2 individuals that decided to break up with them, get together, and get married. They are engaged to be married. So these 2 are basically left out in the cold. Like, what am I going to do? Daphne needs an apartment. Miles comes to her and goes, hey, I have this extra room. You can stay in it because I know you don't have anywhere to live. Because Daphne uprooted herself to move to Waning Bay, I think that's how you pronounce it, Michigan, because that's where her boyfriend was, or fiance. I think it's fiance. Yes, fiance was. So she doesn't really know anybody. She doesn't know where she's going to go. So she gets a knock on the door. Miles is like, hey, I have this extra room now. Do you want to stay in it? So this is a funny story. It's not just one of those little, you know, light, fluffy little rom-coms. I did enjoy the whole book. So 5 stars for this one. If you haven't read it, read it. And look how gorgeous the cover is. Like, that's going to look beautiful on your bookshelf. The 4th book for May is one that I did not plan on writing, and I'm still not writing it. I love The Notebook, the movie. That is probably one of my favorite movies. I love the dynamic of Noah and Allie. So, y'all know I love Up. I love The Notebook. Anything like that, I'm going to love it. So, I wanted to compare the book to the movie. So my husband got me The Notebook for Mother's Day, and I read it, and I will tell you, you guys let me know, have you read this book? Did you watch the movie? What did you think? Which one did you like better? I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the very few times that I will say that I enjoyed the movie more than the book. And I don't know if the reason why the book is done this way is because it's supposed to be like a diary or a notebook. But for one, does Nicholas Sparks always have long chapters? Because the 2 books I've read of his, the chapters are extremely long. Like, the book is like 2 chapters, I feel like. But I'm used to reading a book to where one character's point of view is a chapter. But y'all, this was totally different. Like, one paragraph might be one person's point of view. The next paragraph might be somebody else's point of view. And then it jumps back. And I don't know, because I've watched the movie so many times, I don't know if I would have gotten lost in the details if I had not watched the movie first. You guys let me know. But I don't know if it's done that way because it's supposed to be like a notebook or a diary. So that I did not like. I felt like it was kind of choppy. But I kept visualizing the movie in my head. I will tell you, the book stayed true to the movie. And I like when that happens. So I felt like I could like visualize the entire movie by reading the book. There were some little intricate details that I feel like the book gave me. But then there were also some that the movie gave me. I like the way, so this is kind of a spoiler. So if you've not read it or watched the movie, you might want to pause here, skip ahead until I talk about the next book. I like the way that Allie's mother takes her and shows her the man that she had fallen in love with and decided not to marry. And you could tell in the movie that it was still heart-wrenching to her. Like, she was still in love with this man because she was so upset about it. Because she felt like this man didn't meet the expectations, you know, that society put on her. And that was not in the book. So to me, that was a very important part of the movie because it showed you how Allie and her mom were connected and how similar they were. So it was kind of like one of those big moments in the movie, but the book didn't talk about it. And then also, and I don't know if this is just me, but on the movie, when they're sharing the hospital, like the outside look of the hospital, I have always, since I watched this movie in the beginning of the 2000s, I thought that the hospital was their home renovated. So I felt like they turned their house that they had lived in and, you know, upgraded into a hospital for them. That's the way I've always looked at it. In the book, it wasn't. So I'm like, oh no, that's the second big moment I felt like the movie did. Like, to me, it was even more special because I felt like they had turned their house into a hospital. And they didn't here. They moved to a hospital. So I'm like, ah. So let me know what you thought. Did you like the book better than the movie? Or the movie better than the book? Because I think I like the movie better. And I've been told to read The Wedding. And I have that back here. I don't think I'm going to read it in June. But I do have it back here. That is one my husband also got me or my kids. My husband got me this one. So each one of them got me one. So my husband got me The Notebook. Derek got me The Wedding. And then you'll see the one that Kate got me in just a minute. So let me know your thoughts on that book. I'm glad to have it on my shelf though, because it's one of my favorites and I wanted to have that book as well. Book 6, I was fixing to say book 5. Book 6 is a reread. And I'm gonna hope I don't get banned for talking about this on YouTube or a strike or whatever, because this is a very sensitive book. I read this book back in like 2017 and I had seen some people on Book Talk talking about it, and somebody had mentioned, I think it was Delaney, mentioned this was one of her all-time favorite books. And I could not remember what the story was even about. And I thought, I love Jodi Picoult. Maybe I need to reread the book. So as soon as she talked about this, I want to say 3 different times in TikTok videos. So I went back and started reading it, and I thought, I don't remember what happens. So I wanted to reread it. You guys, I'm so glad I did, because now this is one of my favorite books. It's going on that very top shelf up there with all of my all-time favorite books. And that is Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. This book is almost 500 pages. It is 464 pages. 464 pages. I zipped through this book in, I want to say, 2 or 3 days. I could not put it down. Not a boring part. The entire book, I was like, well, I had my Kindle. I usually have my Kindle and the hard copy with me, or paperback, whichever one. I could not stop reading it. I had to know what happened. So this is a very triggering book. The language that is used, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to close the book and not read it because I felt uncomfortable with the language that was used, because I don't use that language. And it was hard to read it for me in a book. But this book deals with racism. So it's a very triggering book. You get 3 different viewpoints on the issue. Okay, you get the view of Ruth, who is an African-American nurse. She works in the labor and delivery wing at a hospital. You get her lawyer's viewpoint, and then you get Turk, who is the dad, who is a white supremacist. And I'm just saying how it is. That is what it is. And it was really hard for me to read his chapters. Really hard for me to read his chapters. Because I just did not like him. Okay. But this starts with Ruth is working. Turk and his wife, Brittany, have a baby. Ruth is their labor and delivery nurse. Like, she comes in and takes over for somebody else. And so she's doing all of the right after delivery type of measurements and all of this kind of stuff. And the man gets really upset because she's touching his baby. So he has it to where nobody that looks like Ruth can touch his baby. Like, it's written in the folder. And then something happens and it brings this whole situation together. But the way, I'm telling you, the way that this author can do some research for a book is just mind-blowing to me. I would love for her to do a documentary on what it takes for her to write a book, because every one of her books goes into so much detail of a topic. So I can't say enough about this book. I feel like it's one that everybody needs to read. 5 stars for me. It was uncomfortable, but let me tell you, it was very eye-opening. And let me tell you, and how many times am I going to say let me tell you? One little paragraph in this book totally had my jaw drop. When Ruth is talking to her lawyer and she says, when I go to buy a Band-Aid and it says flesh color, whose flesh? Because it doesn't match mine. I stopped. And I thought, whoa. And then in the same paragraph, so she's going on this little necessary rant about her life and what she's experienced. And then she talks about how she has a son, that she cannot go to the greeting card section at a store and find a card that looks like her son. I was like, those 2 sentences are going to stick with me forever. So I'm going to stop rambling about this book, but just know you need to read it because it was life-changing to me. Seriously, life-changing. And then the last book that I read, I just finished this one yesterday, and that is Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. I love this book. I'm rating this 4 stars. Did I tell you I rated Small Great Things 5 stars? It's one of my favorites, going on that top shelf. I guess even if I didn't say 5 stars, you probably knew it was 5 stars. I'm rating this one 4. Good story, liked it, kept me on the edge of my seat. I read it in, I want to say 3 days. I got this with my May book of the month, and book of the month, I always leave my link in the description below. It is, I think, an affiliate link, which means if you sign up, I get a free credit, which means a free book. So I've been with this service since October and really enjoyed it. Always look forward to getting the next box. So I will share on probably Instagram and TikTok my selections for June. I have 4 picked out. I just don't know what the book of the month selections are going to be. So how it works is, and then I'll get into this book. How it works is they come out, the people of book of the month, they go through tons of books and they will come up with 5 or 6 books that they call their picks for the month. And then it will get this little tag on the inside, like this one was April 2024. This was a book of the month pick. So you can choose one of the 5 or 6 as your pick for the month, and then you can do add-ons depending on how many months you've been with the service. So I've been with the service since October, so I'm up to 4 add-ons. So I already have my 4 add-ons picked out. I'm just waiting to see what the selections are for June, so I'll definitely share that with you. But I'm filming this on the 29th, so I don't have any of that information yet, or I would share it. So I've loved it. I think it's either $12.99 a month or $14.99 a month. Hardcover books every single time that you order. Each one is $12.99 or $14.99. I think it's the first one is $14.99 and then the add-ons are $12.99. Hardcover. They're all the same size. So like this one, look, see, they're all the same size. They look amazing on your bookshelf. I really like the service. I love hardcover books, so I really like this one. And always free shipping. So can't wait to share my books for June. I already have the 4 add-ons picked out. So I will tell you one of the add-ons because I like this book so much. The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth is one of them that I'm adding for June. So this book is about 3 foster girls that they are contacted by, I don't know if it's the police or a lawyer or whatever, saying human remains were found underneath the foster home that they used to live in. So they have to go to the town where their foster home was, and they have to kind of go back and they tell their story from like growing up until present to figure out whose remains are under this house. So let me tell you, had me on the edge of my seat, really liked it, 4 stars, and I loved her writing style. Loved it so much, I'm ordering another book from her next month. So this is going to be a good author I'm going to go to now. This is the first book I've read by her, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you to all of you that recommended me read this. I did enjoy it. So those are the 7 books that I read in May. Darling Girls, we're going to go back through. Small Great Things. The Notebook. Funny Story. Rock, Paper, Scissors. Golden Girl. And Then She Was Gone. Okay, so those were my 7 books. And now I'm going to share with you my TBR for June, once I switch out my battery. Okay, now my TBR for June. So I'm going to start with a book that I actually started reading last night, and that is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So this came highly recommended. After reading The 7-Year Slip, I was like, I want to read another book by her. The 7-Year Slip was not one of my favorites. I did give it 4 stars. But I did want to try another book by her. This book, I'm only on page like 17. I started it last night, but so far I feel like I'm going to like it. I really like her writing in this one. So this is my first book for June. I'm hoping... Today is the 29th, so I don't know if I'm going to zip through this because, you guys, sometimes when I start a book, I just can't put it down. So we will see, but it's definitely going to go on my June reads if I do finish it in May because I'm filming this in May. Is The Wedding by Nicholas Sparks. So this came highly recommended. So my son got me this one. And many people say that after The Notebook, you need to read this one. And they say it's about Allie and Noah's kids. So I'm excited to read that. A Frida McFadden book because, you know, you got to read one. I've read about like 8 now. So this one is One by One is the next one I want to read by her. I'm hoping it's good. If y'all read this, let me know. Next is the book that Kate got me for Mother's Day, and it is one that I've seen non-stop, so that's why I asked them to get it for me for Mother's Day, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures. At the beginning, I was like, I don't want to read a book about an octopus. That does not sound anything interesting to me, but then I read the synopsis, and I was like, oh, I bet I would like that. So I cannot wait to read this. The only reason I haven't started it yet, I have wanted to read it several times, is the Kindle version is like $20.99. And here's the thing. I'm one of those that I will read it on a Kindle, but I want the book for my bookshelf. Is anybody else like that? So it's just easier for me. I go so much faster, I have realized, reading on a Kindle because I'm not distracted by all the other words on the page. So I'm hoping, I keep watching, hoping they're going to mark it down at some point. But I cannot wait to read that. The Resort. This one has mixed reviews. Have you read it? What did you think about it? So, people either love this one or hated it. But it's about a group of friends, I think, that go on a vacation to a resort. And not all of them make it out alive, I think. And then last but not least is probably the most popular book right now talked about on Book Talk, and it was Book of the Month, probably the most popular book of the month book for May, and that is Christina Lauren's The Paradise Problem. And this is the first signed copy of a book I've ever gotten. I did pre-order this, so I'm excited about it. So as you see, I got a signed copy of this one. So that is my last book that I want to read in June. And as you know, TBRs are kind of fluid for me. So I'm a mood reader. So I might not choose any of these books, or I might choose different books. I might read some of them and read some different ones. But right now, this is what my mind is thinking I want to read. So I normally will sit these to the side. And when I'm trying to choose another book, I would choose from the ones that I picked out. So we will see. So what are some books that you are wanting to read in June? I'm looking for new books, you guys, because I'm starting to read all of my stacks over here. My TBR card is starting to die down. So you guys let me know what you're reading or what you want to read, because I do want to add more books to my TBR card. So that is my May book talk. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed making these videos. I've enjoyed picking out the books to read, picking out the books to share, hearing your suggestions. You guys, I'm really loving the book community, and I think that you guys are too. So definitely let me know in the comments some books that you've read or want to read, suggestions, and all the things. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you give it a big thumbs up. You guys, by giving my videos a thumbs up, it means a lot because YouTube is going through some things right now. Social media as a whole, and I know I say this every single video, but it really is. And all of them are. Like Instagram, I don't know if the stuff that I've seen about that is true, about you having to pay to get your content seen. I'm not paying to get my content seen. That is not the reason I use social media. I don't know if it is for you, but you guys, I watch what I like. And a lot of these platforms are not sharing what I want to see because it has become all about money. I understand, and you know, even on TikTok, here I go into this little rant. Even on TikTok, it's a lot of buy this, promoting this. And you know, I'm great with small businesses because I've honestly thought about opening up a TikTok shop for my shop just to be able to push my products more. That's one thing. Like, I will purchase from shops I'm purchasing from anyways, but content creators coming on there pushing all of these products, that's exhausting. I mean, I'm like, do y'all follow these people? Because I don't follow them, but it's continuously popping up their stuff, promoting these products non-stop, and it has to be exhausting for the people that are following those content creators. I'm all about making money, but I feel like that some of these content creators do not have any balance. It's just, I need to make $1. I need to make more money. So, sorry for my rant. So, giving the video a thumbs up, commenting helps tremendously. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I will see you again next week. Bye, you guys.